Hello everybody, welcome to Kabukicho. This is in Shinjuku. It's an area infamous as being one of Asia's largest entertainment districts for adults. And they have right there a new skyscraper. This is the, I believe it's the Tokyu Kabuki Tower, which replaces the old Tokyu Milano, which was a massive cinema back in the 1950s. Has this area cleaned up its act? Is it now a must-visit place in the city of Tokyo? That's the question that we're going to be talking about here in this live stream. How you doing, everybody? I'm in Shinjuku today. It's kind of a chilly, well, you know, it's a warm but windy and slightly chilly spring afternoon in April. Typical just before Golden Week. There's a lot of buzz in Shinjuku. This neighborhood is really famous for being, how do I say this? To me, it feels the most like New York. There's a lot of bustle, there's a lot of hustle, there's a lot of people, a lot of skyscrapers, a mix of people, very diverse in that way, and it's an exciting place to come, especially if you're a tourist, and it's a different side of Tokyo. This area behind me called Kabukicho has been an area that is maybe the seediest and not one that I would go to that often, because I don't go to seedy places that you know of, but I do come here every now and then to check out how it's changed, and today we're going to take a look and see, because I've heard a lot of really interesting things about this skyscraper right there. And if you've been in Japan before and you remember that old square in the center of Kabukicho, it was like this little, I don't know, like a little paradise amongst the alleys, a little big clearing in the alleys of Kabukicho. So we're gonna walk around and check it out here. There's the Shinjuku, that's the other side of it. And Kabukicho used to be a swamp back in the Meiji era, all right? Actually, it was filled in and eventually called, what was it, like the Yodobashi processing plant. And that's how Yodobashi camera got its name, by the way, Yodobashi, from a processing plant back here that was in the Shinjuku area. The swamp was filled in. And after World War II, this was a shack place. A lot of immigrants that had come to Japan, especially from China and Korea, were living here. And I think they did a study and said that 70% of the landowners in Kabukicho were of foreign descent, which you get a feel of because Okubo, which is another neighborhood in Tokyo, not very far from here. In fact, I think this can be almost considered Okubo. Has a lot of Korean and Chinese restaurants. All of them are extremely authentic in taste, so I've been told. When I went there, it was pretty authentic, but I don't know how it's changed over the last 15 years because I haven't been there since Gangnam Style was popular. All right, let's go down this alley. Hopefully the signal stays up, and we can find our way around because of that skyscraper that is above us, and we're gonna go take a look at that as well as the Godzilla building. And a lot of you that are watching will be sad to know that the robot restaurant is gone. That went out during the pandemic. They just could not keep the doors open. You know, it looks like, from this angle, it looks like the top of it is in the clouds because of the color of the crown of the building, but it's not, although sometimes it could be. I believe it's over 200 meters tall, which is quite high for Japan. All right, we're gonna go in here and make a right. Let's see if we can take a look through some of the. This is famous in the 1980s and 90s when I first came to Japan as being a place of crime. And there's still crime that goes on. Bars, hostess bars with not great reputations, so to speak. I don't want to. This is way back. I've been to a couple of them with clients because this is also considered to be Waseda University's back. A lot of business accounts here. Oh, there's the Kabukicho sign that's quite famous. Right there. It seems like it's blue on this side. Let me give you an idea. It looks like the signal is not so good right here. There's not a lot that I can do about that. Let's see if we can move over. there's a lot of color to this street, a lot of neon lights, and well, I wouldn't say neon lights, just a lot of bright lights, let's just say. And in around 7 p.m., it really lights up, and I think that this is a place that you should come to see, just to walk through it. Doesn't mean that you have to eat here or even stay here, but walking through it, I think at night, especially after 6, is really interesting. It looks like it's changed to blue on this side. You don't really know until you get to the other side. That big TV screen is, used to be Yamada Denki. I don't know what it is anymore. The Yukina Vision, they call it up there. Yeah, it's a place you want to go out clubbing. I think it's a local place. I don't know. If you're coming in as a tourist, you just have to, you still, I think even to this day, be a little bit cautious of scams because there's just so many people in this area. There's just always going to be a percentage of not nice players. All right, if you can see here, they did change the sign to blue apparently. The retro vibe from the Showa period is actually kind of cool, I think. All right, let me show you exactly where we are. I kind of made a map here for you on Google Earth. Had to use my finger to kind of hash it out here. There's the skyscraper that we just saw. There are a couple of other buildings, and most of them in general, it's quite a low-lying area, mainly because it used to be a swamp. It's filled in land, so it's not real strong here. Thus, the buildings are smaller here, but that's changing because as the land settles and gets harder, you can build higher buildings. I'll pull out a little bit. I'm using my finger to navigate this. This is just a screen capture from my smartphone. You can see Meiji Park, Meiji Jingu, and the city of Shinjuku over there, where there are high-rise buildings. This in front of us, of course, is the infamous Don Quixote. You can walk straight from here, so right from Shinjuku Station, straight through to this area. And this, to me, this has always been the start of Kabukicho to me, this Don Quixote. Because it's got like this majestic looking feel to it in the kind of McDonald's colors of it. It's like, that always sort of was a way for me to think of Kabukicho. It's just kind of like, kind of out there. All right, you see up straight ahead, right? Boom. So we have Godzilla. This is a new thing. I think it came around 2015, maybe 2017, 16, 17, and it really was a big deal back then because, like, what? You just be walking down the alley and boom, there's Godzilla for you. And you have Mario as well, so it makes you feel like if you're in Japan, right? Look at this view, it's kind of crazy. I think I have a view of this from above. Let me see here. There we are. So we're coming down onto the Godzilla. This is the new Toho Cinemas, the Hotel Great. I can't remember what the hotel is called. Hotel Gracie, maybe? Gracery? You can go up there and check it out. There's a cafe as well, which is kind of cool. Yeah, Gracery right there. Looks pretty ferocious. And it is quite a high building there. So my fondest memories were with directors of companies, people with expense accounts, and going out at night. Usually we would hit a hostess club. Why am I telling you? We would hit a hostess club in Ginza where he would drain some of his expense account. We'd get into a taxi and then we'd come here to finish the night because as a Waseda University student, that's what he used to do. Even though it was like 30 years after and the neighborhood was a lot tougher, we still would make our way to a more casual hostess club where the girls and the quality of entertainment was just different. And I think, you know, he'd been going there for like 30, 40 years. So it wasn't something like where he ever was in fear, because if business executives were ever to get in trouble here, all of this expense account money would dry up. So they were like untouchable. So when I came here with him, I was like untouchable coming around here. A lot of those clubs are still here, but they're in the alleys, and I'm not sure if it's ever going to change fully, but it just seems like over the last 10 years, Kabukicho has cleaned up its act and become almost like a theme park. I mean, when you look at the big banners, that's a big Mario. That looks like a theme park to me. Now, I wasn't a naughty boy, I was a smart boy, because if you're gonna do business, most of the business takes place after the meetings, in casual settings where you get to know people, and that's when they start to build trust with you. You just don't act like an idiot when you go out. Just because there are lots of really pretty ladies around whose job it is to entertain you, you wouldn't go crazy and do stupid things. In fact, I would be a lot more casual and let them talk to me and entertain me. I'm talking about the executives and stuff, but they were friends. We weren't going out for business, so to speak. We were just going out because, all right, my friend, if he didn't use his expense account, he would lose his expense account. So at the end of the month, or especially quarters, he would call me up. It made no sense, but for me, I got to go to some of the best sushi shops and really get to understand Japan's adult entertainment stuff from a business point of view, like from a side. And all I ever did was really just drink and go home slightly tipsy, but always safe. Sometimes he would put me in a cab and then just give the guy cash, and he would drive me home. So I didn't even have to take the subway. I would miss the last train quite often, let's just say. This is the behind this building is the new skyscraper. We're gonna go into this direction. And then I'm gonna take you where the robot restaurant used to be, so we can take a look at how that area is and what is actually there right now. This body sushi thing is sort of a myth. I remember bringing it up. It was something I think I saw in the movie Rising Sun with Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes. Maybe it happened during the bubble era, but oh, hello. How you doing? Are you watching?
Yes.
Oh, here, you want a card?
No, we just happened to see you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a nice trip. So we're gonna walk over here. For me, when this building came in, the Toho Cinema, the Shinjuku Toho building, I was just shocked because I had never, I didn't realize that it had gone up because I don't come here that often. But I remember when I came here in 1998 the first time and walked and got lost in Kabukicho area, and it was really intimidating. It was really intimidating because the kind of people that were here. Japan didn't have a lot of tourists back in 1998, but I was like, you know, I've been to New York City. These guys look like gangsters, sort of. That was just the vibe back then in this area. There was a lot of Yamamba, a lot of, like, I don't know. I guess these girls didn't study in school or something, and they ended up on the streets. But this plaza used to have a water fountain. It's so weird, it's finished. Oh my gosh, we're standing in front of it. So this building is still here. This is the Humax Entertainment District. There's some game centers in here. I don't know what they're gonna end up doing with it. There's an Appa Hotel? What? And then here it is. This used to be the old Milano. Now I'm gonna stand right here and I'm gonna show you a picture of what this used to look like back in the day. Let me see if I could pull this up here. Yeah, these pictures are pretty cool. So this is the plaza right here. You can see there's like a water fountain in the middle. There's cars parked there, and there's the old Milano the Toho Milano, a cinema. So the entire entertainment world would come here to open movies and stuff. You can still see on the left and the right, is that building the same? Okay, that's sort of different. But that building on the left looks somewhat similar. Let me see if I can pull up another picture here. There you go, there's the old Milano, but this one looks like it's more in the 70s. You can see the water fountain down there. That building on the left looks slightly different. There's the water fountain. It's not here anymore. Even the lights have changed. Here's the live view of it now. To me, it's really interesting. And look, I felt like this plaza was also blocked off, so it looked like a square, and you couldn't go any further. So events would sometimes be held here, and it just felt like a really cool, I don't know, like something you'd find in Rome. Walking around, you'd go through these alleys, and then boom, there was this courtyard. Let's go take a closer look at the Kabukicho Tower. Hey, Champagne Sumo's here. Robot restaurant? Well, domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Well said. Wow. It's so much cleaner. I just go back to the first time I came here in '98, and there were so many seedy people around. Now it's just me. That's a seedy guy, maybe. Look at this. Tokyo Mystery Circus. What's that over there? It has really opened up because they pushed back where the Milano used to be, like right up against here. That's in front of the hotel. There's Hotel Gracery, and there's another cinema. So the cinemas are still here. This used to be a Sega World, Sega Game Center. Now it's Gigo, which has taken over all of them. I think if you've been watching the channel, you know that. And the cinemas are still inside here. I guess we can have a quick look-see, but let's go around this building real quick. Back in this direction, if I recall correctly, this is where a lot of the love hotels are? Question? See, there's still some construction going on as they change this area. It's just so weird. Like, there's an Appa hotel here, probably catering to a lot of tourists. That's crazy. When I came here 25 years ago, there were no tourists. And I think it was I think maybe that's what was really intimidating. But the streets have stayed pretty much the same. Yeah, back here is where you start to get into love hotels and stuff. And then it'll take you eventually to Shin Okubo and the Okubo area, which is a very, really interesting area with ethnic supermarkets. Other items from around, other items from around Asia can be more easily found in this area just because they're mostly family-run supermarkets where they have been just passed down from generations going back to World War II when there were just shacks here. What is that there? That looks really good. On the side. Should I get one of those things? It looks like some kind of bread. What do you think? Bolumarie. All right, I'm game if you guys are. Street food. Okay, let's just go see. Konnichiwa. カレーパンですか？
グラタンが中に入ってる。
あ、グラタン入る。
見た目がカレーパンみたいなんですけど、グラタンが中に入ってる。
おお、いくらですか
1個650円になります。
あ、じゃあ一つお願いします。
今食べますか？
あ、はい。
はい。
Wow.
$350円のですね。少々お待ちください。
はい。はい、ありがとうございます。Wow, nice warm bread. Supposed to be on a diet. Game over. You can smell it from the corner there, so it's hard to say no. All right, let's see what we got here. So that was a kind of expensive, 650 yen for it. So it's gourmet. It's got a picture of Hokkaido on it. And instead of curries, he says it's gratin. So this is my lunch. Deep fried bread with gratin. There you go. That's what you get for 650 yen. But I guess the good stuff's on the inside. Wow. This neighborhood is so different. It doesn't fit. Image right now. Okay. It's pretty good. You can see in here they do have some gratin in the middle there. It's soft, kind of a mochi consistency. Yeah, I'm not gonna drink at 11 a.m. This is interesting because this is the old building. This used to be the VR zone for Shinjuku. Does anybody remember that? After they got rid of the Milano, the last, hold on, let me get the picture up here of the Milano here. There it is right there on the left side, that pink building. The last movie that they played there was, what was it? 2014, December 31st. Yeah, right before New Year's 2015 was the last movie. Then they tore it down. And there was something, another building there called the VR Zone. I don't think I have a picture of it, do I? No, I don't have a picture of that one. And the VR Zone was just like a little pop-up amusement shop that was going on there. I thought I did. Huh. This is Kabukicho. You can see how vibrant it is at night. It's just such a cool area. I think it's sunset around 6:30, 7 o'clock. When there's colors in the sky, it really lights up. The lights come on. That's one of my favorite times here. If you just follow the tracks, it'll take you to Shin Okubo, and that's a really cool area to walk around. Let's go back around because I want to take you now to the robot restaurant, which used to be over in this direction here. Yeah, and you'll see if you go down to this side, there's Golden Gai. This is where Day getting shoulder to shoulder with locals and getting a real vibe of what Tokyo, or at least Shinjuku, was at the time. I think that episode's still available on the internet. You'll see some of the stuff that Anthony produced as pictures when he visited. Store owners would take pictures and then you can still see them inside as a tribute. All right, we're gonna walk the other direction. In Japan, you're not supposed to eat and walk, but I am holding a lot of people here in my stick, so the show must go on. Let's see if I can get something to drink with that. Thank you. Katayama, is that? Hold on a second. That's an old looking building from the 1970s. Wow, there's a lot of cheese in this. Look at that building. Look at the rust on it. Oh man, there's a lot of character. Cut the Emirates in here. Quit complaining about the sandwich. Look at that. Look at the rust on it. I wouldn't change it at all. Wow, it's so thin. This is like a bubble era thing that just has not aged well. Spiral staircases were a big deal back then. Rust never sleeps. What is that, Frank? Nice. Very true. So just look at this new Lawson's. So when people go drinking, typically in this area is infamous for it, notorious, I should say. Everybody makes a convenience store stop for a bottle of water, in my case, or junk food like chocolate and pastries and stuff to finish off that. Are you starting to see some of the love hotels? New Grand. Doesn't look so grand. Hotel Hotel Wako. Just so you know, I think some of you probably do, love hotels charge by the hour during the day, but after about, it just depends, like 8, 9, 10 p.m. they'll do something called a stay, excuse me, and you can get a really good discounted price. They make most of the money during the day for people who just go in to pay for an hour or two. Shibuya is maybe more famous for its Love Hotel Hill up in Dogenzaka. Wow. There you go. I love Kabukicho. I think they put that up a while ago. When I did a couple of yakiniku events here back in the day, 2014, and this was here, so at least 10 years it's been around. All right, let's go around. This is the Hotel Gracery with the Godzilla building. It's funny, there's another Appa hotel. They're everywhere. It's like Starbucks and Appa, Starbucks and Appa, Starbucks and Appa. Throw in a McDonald's and then you have the tourist areas of Japan now. There you go. Let's look a little bit around the neighborhood. You can see, as I started off this live stream, this was a swamp after the Meiji era, and they filled it in eventually. It was the spot of something called the Yodobashi processing plant, thus Yodobashi Camera, which has its headquarters in this area. There's a lot of history here. After World War II, look at this Godzilla vending machine. Do they have any Godzilla drinks? No, but do you know what they do have? Like every single kind of monster that you can imagine that's intended, I believe. Okay, so this is the Shinjuku that I remember, this area, the Kabukicho. Like really low buildings, kind of shack-like. also fun. Let's just walk through here. Almost looks like the red light district, but the purpose of these buildings have changed a little bit. In fact, I think it very well could be. This looks like the lamp from A Christmas Story. I'm serious, this is a lamp. That is the coolest lamp. I've not seen anything like this. This is even more amazing than A Christmas Story. For those that remember watching the movie Lost in Translation, this is where Bob was getting shot at with like a cork gun or something, going down these alleys here, cutting through the pachinko shops. This is not too far away from the Park Hyatt Hotel, which is where some of the film was made. So it's got that vibe to it. A lot of these, I don't know, 18 and over. In 1999, they said that this was the largest entertainment district in Asia. I don't know if it still is, but it's changed quite a bit. Wow, okay. The last time I was here was with my friend Dan from the YouTube channel What's Inside, and his son Lincoln was here. They're pretty fun duo. And this is the robot restaurant. Look at what it is now. Is it just an empty board? And it's actually up for rent. What? Gira gira garuzu. Egyo chu. So it became a girl bar? What? What? It's something. I don't know what it is. Everybody, this is the front of the what used to be the robot restaurant. So you tell me what this is. All right. It seems like they still have something here of interest to some people. But the robot restaurant is history. I remember when they started that robot restaurant back in, gosh, like 2008 or something. They'd put in an extraordinary amount of money that shocked people. This is the entrance to it, right? Yeah. They put in an extraordinary amount of money, and they had these really wicked, like tractor trailers with a robot in the back of it, and they'd go around Shibuya and Harajuku to try to get tourists to come to this area. Yeah, and they also had a place to get the tickets here. And you can see they still have a sign for it right here. This is sort of history, because I'm sure that this sign is gonna be gone soon. But the robot restaurant is no more. I'll just pan across it for you guys. If you do have some video of it, it has become part of the history of Tokyo. And I do, so. It's kind of valuable, because you'll never be able to film that show again. Best tourist attraction site of 2014. Feels like it. So, apparently there is some business here. Cobra Bebop's in the house. I thought Kabukicho was to be avoided. Was this area where you were the night before walking up with the Snickers bar melted to your chest? That was, I can't believe you, first of all, I can't believe you remember that story. I can't believe you remember that story. That was Hiroshima. That was when one of the dinners that I went out with my, the teachers took me out to a dinner, and I kept drinking hot sake, Atsukan, and I got so drunk, I went to the bathroom, and I forgot to go back to the table. I just left the restaurant and I started to stumble through Hondori, which is the main shopping Shotengai of Hiroshima, and walked all the way past the atomic bomb dome, Genbaku Dome, to my house in Yokogawa, which is where I was living at the time. I bought a Snicker bars en route and took pictures with Yamamba, or these girls with dark makeup. And I had that in my pocket with a melted Snickers bar in my chest when I woke up in the morning. It was summer. Anyways, some of these, this was really famous. I think this has been in a couple of movies. They used to have the drum beat video game in the front, and now it's all UFO catchers. That taiko drum game was kind of cool, but it no longer gets people to come in, so you can see UFO catchers tend to make more money. All right, here's the entrance of Kabukicho Sakura-dori Street, and we're back on the Shinjuku side of things, outside of the neighborhood. I remember a bunch of Nigerians in Kabukicho trying to get you to go into the hostess clubs. I didn't really see a lot of Nigerians here in Kabukicho. As I said, a study was done in when was it, 2004, and 70% of the property in Kabukicho was owned by Nigeria. Was one of those places, so just historically. Bradshaw, just right over there is the Don Quixote, which is where we the other areas of Sancho made, because I want to get it. First time since they lifted the mask requirement, guideline, I guess you could say. And in 2 weeks' time, the whole pandemic is downgraded to something like influenza. So that will make a kind of a difference to some people coming to visit. No longer, apparently, when you enter Japan, do you have to show any proof of vaccination or anything like that. It just goes back, like hit the reset button and you're back in 2019. But you will. And if you do have a fever, you might be pulled aside. Excuse me, a lot of talking. I have a lot of memories in this street here. This is also part of Kabukicho. And I've spent some time in this Mr. Donuts waiting for the first train. Not always did my friend pay for the taxi for me to go home. Sometimes I had to wait at this Mr. Donuts with a couple of donuts, and yeah. It's interesting that this capsule hotel is still here. That's a Shinjuku Kuyakusho Mai Capsule Hotel. It's still in business. It's changed a lot since I filmed it many years ago. But if you go to the alleys, I don't think the signal's very good, but behind this Mr. Donuts, there's an alley that looks uncharacteristic of Shinjuku. Will take you to Golden Gai, which I suppose is Kabukicho. I'm not sure. I guess I'll do that because it seems to make sense that I would walk this way. But if the signal gets bad, let me know and I'll try to fix this up for you. Hey Carlitos, I'll go one up on that. Don't point your camera at anybody in Japan. How about that? Not purposely. Never zoom up on anybody when you're taking pictures, and that's kind of illegal. But in passing, they still got the old restrooms here. In passing, it's okay. There's not a lot that you can do. The law is you can't focus in on somebody and go against their privacy. All right, here it is. This is the entrance to Golden Gai. I'm not gonna take you around here. This is not a stream on that area, per se, but if you are going to Kabukicho, this is probably where you'll end up. Bar Champion is still here, and It has not changed much at all. They did have a fire here about 7 years ago, and there was some crime attached to that, they say. But it does feel what a lot of people consider to be like an urban jungle. Instead, we have some trees. It's nice. Here's the alleyway of Golden Guide. You can see left and right. These alleys really do. It's just fun to walk around at night. And if you do go in, some of the places have cover charges, some of them don't. I did a live stream here with Tokyo Sam, who knows this area well, weller than me. And we found some interesting places. Let's get out of here. There's gonna be a line to get into. There's a line for something. They call it Shinjuku New Art. So it might be art. That's a Shinjuku ward office. So there's Golden Guy right there. You can see the Jim Beam logo. Just follow that. Go straight until you smell it, and then go right until you step in it. That is so creepy. Is that real or enhanced with... That's creepy. You just never tell. I can't... The only way to know for sure is to see somebody in real life now because of all the AI art and... All right, let's cross the street here, get an idea of how the Shinjuku Sanshime area has changed. I mean, I am quite fascinated with that here. But in general, Cobra Bebop, to get back to your question, Kabukicho was always an area that I didn't... Oh, we can cross the street here. Kabukicho is an area that I didn't really, I don't know, wouldn't recommend as a place to stay other than the capsule hotel. But even that has changed quite a bit, and because of the tourist boom, the prices have also gone up quite a lot. And if you're into entertainment, all right, you're looking for nightlife and drinking and stuff, and you're a city guy, you can handle yourself, this is a pretty interesting place. So I can recommend on this side of the street that we just crossed. I could recommend staying there because you can handle yourself. But if you're, you know, a suburban bumpkin like me, I grew up not on the streets of New York or Philly, I would get my ass handed to me here if I didn't have a protector. It's like prison. I wouldn't make it. You have to ally yourself with strong people. Have to be part of a tribe or something. On my own, naked, in prison. I know, let's not think about that. It's really hard. All right, and then up here, this is the last time we're gonna be able to see it, that I believe. You have the building, the new Kabuki Tower that's in the spot of the old Milano. And if I zoom up, it looks like it's in the clouds. I like the coloring that they did at the end of it, and gives it sort of like a, I don't know, it's kind of a retro feel to it. When you get close to it, it does look really new, and I don't know, I'm kind of torn because half of me loves that old Showa rustic feel because it has character. That's the character that we grew up through. So for a lot of the people who went to school at Waseda University, I'd be interested to hear what, like I'm talking like in the 1970s, what their opinion is of the changes. Because it's a different kind of a playground now, and there's a heck of a lot more tourists that cross that street now, because a lot of the tourists would stay in this area where we are, not in the other area where we just were. For good reason, but the adventurous would go. The art here is also really crazy. I like it. You see it in Harajuku and Shibuya. There's a vibe. This is more of a tourist area here. Shinjuku Sanchome, so Shinjuku is separated into certain neighborhoods. On the other side, that area is being cleaned up quite a bit right now where Yodobashi Camera is. This side, called Sanchome, which is where the station is in the third neighborhood of Shinjuku, is very famous for shopping because of a massive isetan. And there's also a big camera. If you just look at the street, you can tell. I can kind of go in the middle because there's a green light. Down in this direction, and this is where we're going to be going. We're going to be going down there in a second. I'm taking you here for a second because I'm kind of curious myself, and maybe you all know where I am as well. Hold on, let me cross the street. This is where the 3D cat was. It was a very groundbreaking digital signage spot in Tokyo, and now it's kind of old news. But I think the 3D cat has changed, and now they have like next level stuff. There's a couple of other wraparound machines that give you the 3D view. I think Akihabara is one of those places. But it's kind of cool the way that it does wrap around. Let's see if we can catch. Oh, there are also some tourists here on the corner thinking the same thing. Give us some 3D. About 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I came here and filmed it, it looked like the cat was coming out of the screen there and trying to grab. We'll see what they have. So wait for me for just a little bit as we see if they have any kind of a 3D offering. Makes an appearance. The great thing with the live stream is you see the scenes that maybe are also kind of interesting that I would normally cut out. This is something I would cut, but it's sort of fun to see what's running on the ads at the screens above here in Tokyo. A lot of digital signage. We would always meet here. I'll meet you in front of the Altavision. Has anyone ever said that before? I'll meet you in front of the Altavision. I don't think that's a big meetup spot anymore. All right, we're gonna wait here for another minute or so. Hey, Lilac Peach, 15 months, thank you for being a member. There it is, a 3D cat. He's off the screen.
Wow!
Whoa! It looks like they're looking down on us, these. That's so cool. I think every ad should be utilizing that. Every ad should be utilizing the 3D aspect of this wraparound screen. All right, I have a couple of final things to do as we wait for the light to change. Just down the street is this place here. Where'd it go? This is This is Omoide Yokocho, which is a small alley, a very narrow alley where you could go and get yakitori, motsunabe, some of the post-World War II food. A lot of these shacks are still the same as they were back in the early 50s. I don't know how long this is still going to be around, how long it's going to be around, but they're tearing places down like this for the earthquake protocols. I don't know if they're fortifying the buildings or what, but a lot of them have new owners. Most of them were Chinese owners, and I thought that was really interesting. You talk to people and they spoke better English than they did Japanese sometimes. But again, the makeup of this area of Shinjuku was 70% non-Japanese for property ownership after World War II, and a study that they did in 2004, just land passed down from one to another because it used to be a swamp, right? There's the end of the alley here. This is Yataien, and this is really breaking my heart. Because this corner used to be where you would get luxury fruits. It was a fruit stand. Does anybody remember that? Now that fruit stand is no longer a fruit stand. It's like this yatai shop, I guess you could say. Like it feels like you're at a stand, but it's a restaurant. I'm kind of heartbroken now taking a look at this and seeing that it's not that fruit stand, because I remember talking to the owner many times, having a good time, taking pictures of the square watermelon there, and no longer can you see that here. So apparently they sold out. I guess the pandemic really did it to them. They could not keep the shop alive. No one was buying fruit because nobody was out at all, and they still have to pay the rent because it's a contract, but it's kind of heartbreaking not to see that fruit stand here. That fruit stand had been here for, oh my gosh, decades. Decades. And now we are back where we started. Okubo Park and the entrance to Kabukicho. Wow. Pretty interesting look at Kabukicho. This is going down on the Godzilla because we're going to be meeting Godzilla in about 30 seconds. Yeah, don't forget that like button. I appreciate it very much. If you're watching this in playback, leave me a question or leave me a comment. What do you think of Kabukicho? Is this a place that you would consider staying for the night? Where's your recommendation for staying in the city of Tokyo? Many of you have been here to Tokyo, so you know a lot about it. Yeah, that could be a postcard, couldn't it? This could be a postcard. Have to come back at night. So this is where I started the live stream, on the corner here. Any questions before we tune off? A fun hour of walking around Kabukicho. I hadn't done that in a long time. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging out and taking a look at this area with me again, kind of remembering it. They changed that to blue, which was interesting. That's also a big change. But the biggest, is it the Narita Express maybe? That's a train that I never take. I've never ridden, one time I've ridden the Narita Express, like many years ago. That I don't think that is, that's the, I can't see the sign. That's the newest building in Kabukicho. So the renovations, a lot of the changes are nearly complete. The neighborhood has changed quite. You know, I wouldn't normally recommend Kabukicho to anybody, but I think I might now. It seems like there's a lot more entertainment there. The drinking is still there. There's still that character of Kabukicho. Sure, it's not the same Kabukicho as 1990, but you probably are a lot safer now, and you probably won't catch any diseases. Should I even say that? It's blue Kabukicho. Thanks everybody. Have a good day. I'll see you again tomorrow. We'll think of another area of Tokyo to show you. Or I'll get my man PVG back here and we'll have a discussion because I have some things that I want to talk to him about as well because he has a lot of opinions. And again, for anybody who's coming to Japan, it's crazy right now. There are more tourists here from the West than there were in 2019, it feels like. Just tourists from China are not here yet, so it has a different feel than it did back in 2019. See you, everybody.